Well, I went through the questions that folks had had and the concerns from last week and all of that good stuff. So I want to point out a couple of things for you all. First thing is, yeah, I know that we're kind of in the middle of this semester, but remember that we started week 4 today. And week 4, we only are at this for 6 weeks. So we're compressing 16 weeks into 6 weeks. So that does make the labs a little bit more consolidated, and you don't have quite as much time to work on them just because we are on a time crunch for the summer semester. I am going to come back and we're going to talk about some of the labs. Apparently, a lot of you struggled with the gravity lab, and a lot of you struggled with a couple of things, but I want to kind of remind you that some of you, and we've actually done studies on this, so this isn't just everybody. It's that you tend to overthink what you're trying to do. You tend to make it, you think, oh my gosh, it's physics class, so it has to be hard. And it really doesn't. And you sit there and you're working it along and you're doing all the right things. And then you go, well, it can't be like this. This isn't quite right. So we're going to talk through a couple of them. Don't sweat if your number didn't come out right. Sometimes Mother Nature isn't fair. And I account for that because Mother Nature can be not fair. So as we go through that, I'm going to kind of walk you through a couple of things. The other thing is I had several people ask me for videos that are like the homework problems. I do want to point out that for the homework today, you have in here quite a few problems. There are, for example, in here, you've got the suitcase problem. That's a problem that students tend to struggle with. So you've got the suitcase problem. This one is looking at over the pulleys problem. This is the truck and trailer problem. So those of you who are working on your homework, you have the videos here. And I think what happens is you get so wrapped up in your time and what's being crunched on for time that you forget to go look at that you actually have those videos out there. So I just wanted to point that to you. This is the complex Atwood machine. So, you've got, I've just looked at the homework where people were struggling. Well, guess what? The truck and trailer problem is one of them. The Atwood's problem is another one. The suitcase problem is a challenge. And I've got videos out there for you already to be able to go in and look at it. So I wanted to make sure that you folks were covered on that one. So just be aware that those are there. For this upcoming week, we're going to start energy tomorrow because I want to give you a chance. If you have questions, we can work through questions on the forces, but we will start energy tomorrow. You do have the test for forces and energy comes in at the end of this week because we're at the end of week 4. And after this week, we've only got 2 weeks left. And so really start thinking about, oh my gosh, we really are coming up right away. This is already June 3rd and we're done by June 20th. We have 17 days left. So that does make a difference. Your assignments for energy are right here. So you've got your chapter 5 pre-work. If you haven't already started it, that's due tonight. But most everything else is due later in the pre-work for chapter 6 is coming up because we do 2 chapters dealing with energy that's out there. And then you have some extra problems on forces and kinematics and all of that to help you out. So yeah, I know we move fast in summer, but we're going to get you through it and get you out. There are examples for energy problems, but again, we'll talk about energy tomorrow. Now for labs, we're actually going to go through that here. I got some emails. I think I responded to folks, But we're going to do force and mass, the elevator, and the friction laboratory, and we'll actually dive in and look at this a little bit more for you guys. So questions about what's due. The friction laboratory, I think, is due on the 8th. This work lab, don't overthink the work lab. It's really straightforward. You're going up a flight of stairs. This one, here's your reference laboratory that you're going to do. This is the same lab that we would do in class. You're going to look at your work going up, and basically you're just doing some calculations. It'll take you 5 minutes to do it. It is not that difficult, and I have it due on Sunday. So yeah, we are approaching our laboratories, but that gets us through 8 of the labs. We typically do 12 labs, quote 12 labs, but the last lab is the egg drop lab, and it counts for 2. So after this week, we really only have 3 labs left to be able to get done. And again, don't forget that at the end of this week, we will have gone 2/3 through the semester. So that's why things seem to snowball here at the middle, is because we're on a really short time frame. So questions about what's due?
So we got 4 labs this week. Is that correct?
Yeah, 4 labs this week. The force mass lab, which we're going to go over tonight, the elevator lab, which we're going over tonight, the friction lab, and this work lab. The lab that's going to take you the longest to do is the friction lab. These other labs will not take you very long at all.